Welcome back to the Enfield Diaries, where today we need to replicate the door check straps. These are mounted on the doorpost here, and there's a little arm that goes through the door and it catches the back of the door here, and it stops the door frame opening too far. I'm lucky that on this car I have the original units here, which I can then copy. We can't find that they're actually made for any other vehicle and seem to be unique to the car. Although Morris Minor ones are similar, they're not the same at all. Unfortunately, the two other cars in my care are missing these pieces of equipment. So on the red car, that allows the door to open in some cases too far. And on my spares car that is a long-term rebuild, they're missing entirely. So off-site, because I don't have heat facilities here, I've taken some M6 or 6mm diameter steel bar. I've flattened the end so that that replicates the end of the original seen here. I've tapped this end to M6, which curiously enough is metric despite the fact the car's age. And then I've drilled a hole at the small end and shaped it, and I put a couple of nuts on the other end ready. To refabricate the yoke, I've actually folded some 1/2-inch diameter flat steel into these C shapes, and then I've got some a little nut which I'm going to dehead a little bit like this. I'm going to weld that onto there, and then I'm going to drill and tap a hole through there to take M5 screw, which will screw straight through and be threaded into both sides of this C shape, and then that will allow that to attach to the bar directly. And then on the end of the bar, I'm going to put a 6mm penny washer, and probably a little bit like the original, just a 1-inch diameter rubber bung, which seems to be OEM spec. So let's get cracking. So the bolt head's been cut to shape, ready to weld on to the steel. So I've made up this tiny little jig to allow this bolt here to be welded in the center of these little folded pieces. So let's turn the welder on. Flip it over and weld the other side. Welded up, ready for dressing. So these are the replica pair, and this is the original one. You can see the ends are very similar. Quite pleased with those. The curves are virtually identical because they were made next to each other. I think they'll fit. They're made exactly the same way, same threads. Rather chuffed with them. Next job, fit them to the car, of course. On coming to fit the door check straps, on the passenger side, we actually found there's an original part of the door check strap still on the doorpost. So we're going to use that and not one of my recreated versions. So that's the near side fitted. That's the original one refitted, and it stops just there. That's just slightly short than fully opened. So that's exactly where we want it. Let's go and fit the other side. First of all, I've stripped the door check strap, and that needs to go through the little hole in the doorpost, right way round. Then I'm going to put the door check rubber. I'm putting a nylon washer and a large M5 penny washer. That needs to go inside the door. So I've got to fish up here and put that onto the end of that rod. Next job is to put these two little M6 lock nuts onto the end of the thread. So again, I'm going to fish up under there and put them on. Next job is to get the little door bit screwed up, and that thread screws all the way through the hole and comes out the other side. So I'm just going to attach that now. So with the pivot attached, you can see there's nice free easy movement. That then needs to go through that hole, which is a little bit of a fiddle, but it will go through that. Might need to shut the door a little bit. I then need access in here, so I need to take this door rubber off here, which will come off, and then I've got to peel the carpet back to allow access to the hole, so I can put the nut, the spring washer and the large washer on the back of the thread that's in there. So there's the access hole that I'm going to put the bolts onto, and the thread is inside there. I've got to fiddle about. Nut finally on. Now to tighten it up. Tightening up can be done, but it's a very slow process. You can turn about a quarter of a turn at a time. I have put a spring washer behind it to help it tighten up. Let's get this tightened up. Can't hold camera and spanner at the same time. So there we have a fitted, working door check strap. So as the door opens, it catches it and stops it from going too far, right at the end of its travel. Another job done on the Enfield 8000. So if you'd like these, do please like and subscribe. It all helps and is always appreciated. Join us next time as we fix something else on the Enfield 8000.